Okay, up next, Kamal Chawla joins us on the line. Hi Kamal, how can we help you?
Hi, Vasudha. This is Kamal, and I would like to thank the whole team of Property NDTV for putting up such a nice show. It's very informative, and I make sure I don't miss any of your episodes. So my query is specific to Gurgaon. I currently reside at Rohini. It's my own house, and I have booked a 4 BHK. It's a 4 BHK, 3,100 square feet. It's an under construction property in Raheja, Navodaya, in sector 92. I bought it a year back around 4,375 per square feet for my end use under the 50/50 scheme, and I paid already 50% of it, which comes around 62 lakhs. So I request you to advise me about this decision, whether I've chosen the right project, in terms of location and the price, and if I can hold it for a period of 1 year or 2 years, because I couldn't see any infrastructure development around this area. So please advise me whether should I keep it for my end use or should I exit and get another one for my end use.
Okay. Sector 92, much of these sectors in New Gurgaon adjoining Manesar are yet to see development in terms of infrastructure. The ones closer to Dwarka Expressway are seeing some movement. Is this a good location to hold to?
Yeah, so the question is really, we have to really divide this decision between end use and investor driven. So as you chose to make this investment initially as an investment, and now you're looking from an end use perspective, as an end use perspective, I would definitely recommend you to look at sectors which are much closer to the main Gurgaon region, where livability is well established. People are living there, and the first micro market that comes to mind is, with respect to your budget also, is areas in and around Sona Road, where once you get the project, you will be able to live in right away. The new Gurgaon sectors are a good 3 years away. They eventually will become great sectors because they are modern. There's modern construction there. Developers are coming out with great townships, and organized living will be there. But yes, 3 to 5 years is the time horizon that you have to keep in mind. And also that the supply that is there in the nearby vicinity, like Golf Course Extension Road, Dwarka Expressway, will keep these new Gurgaon sectors quite subdued, or they will translate and become into mid markets as such. And after a certain point in time, they will stop appreciating. A mid market you could consider in Gurgaon would be anywhere in the region of 7,000 to 8,000 rupees a square foot, beyond which you move on to the luxury segment. And that is what you have to keep in mind, that you want to be in the luxury segment or continue to be in the mid segment over there. That's the point of view that I'd like to have. With respect to your investment here, I would like you to exit if it's an end use decision. Infrastructure will take some time unless you're willing to wait 3 to 5 years. I'll come to the key data points of these micro markets and make some recommendations to you. 9 projects. So this is Sona Road is where we're coming to, because this is a micro market where you can actually live in with some time frame that you have in mind. Sectors 33, 38, 47 to 49 and Sona Road. 8,200 rupees a square foot is the weighted average price of this market. So prices are much higher, but it's livable. That's why. Price appreciation 56% over the last 2.5 years. And if you want to look at an annualized return, we're talking about 22%. The projects that you can consider are Lilac by SS Group, Sector 49. This is 8,390 rupees a square foot, available from the resale market. It's a part of a 200-acre fully functional township. Second is Central Park 2 by Sweta Estates Private Limited, Sector 48. This is 8,700 rupees a square foot is the price. 2014 is the completion year, again available from the resale market. I'm sure here you'll be able to get much better deals in the resale market, because right now investors are looking at exits, and if you have money in hand, you will be able to strike a good deal. Uniworld Garden 2 by Unitech Limited, Sector 47, 7,500 rupees a square foot is the price of this project. 2014 is the completion year, available in the resale market. All these 3 projects you can consider very happily. If you're willing to wait for a 3 to 5 year period, then you hold on to your project by Raheja. Otherwise, you should consider an exit. Having said that, this project has appreciated about 14% since launch.
Okay. Samir, you're recommending a Unitech project. Have their project deliveries picked up?
Yeah. This project is already going to be delivered in 2014. The buildings are up. So I don't think there's any execution challenge over here as well. Plus, Unitech right now is concentrating only on execution as such.
And they're going tower by tower.
And they're going tower by tower. With respect to this project, Yes, but yes, I don't think there's too much of an execution risk in this project.
Okay, so Kamal, all the way from New Gurgaon, Sector 92, we are recommending you that in your budget, you have good livable options on Sona Road. There is Lilac by SS Group, Central Park 2 by Shweta Estates Private Limited, and Uniworld Garden 2 by Unitech. All right, let's kick off our expert discussion of the day. This August, the state of Haryana introduced a new affordable housing policy with the target of creating a supply of 1.25 lakh apartments in the next 5 years. What is the scope of this policy and how are developers responding to it? To discuss that, we have in the studio Mr. Navin Raheja, CMD of Raheja Developers. So thank you so much for joining us in the studio. Before I bring you in, let's run through the big incentives that this policy has given to real estate developers in Haryana. Developers are exempt from license fees and infrastructure development charges. You also get a higher FAR of 225 as against the normal of 175. Also high ground coverage of 50% as against the usual 35%. The carpet area of these homes will range from 28 square meters to 60 square meters, and the allotment rate for Gurgaon and Faridabad has been fixed at 4,000 rupees per square feet. Mr. Raheja, the biggest surprise outcome of this policy is that a lot of interest has been generated among developers in Gurgaon. You have won a license in Sohna. Tell us what is generating so much interest among developers.
I think the main criteria why this interest is there is because people who could not get licensing in the main policy, now they are stuck up with their investments. They have no option how to liquidate that money, how to monetize those lands. Because making a 100-acre colony and making it, then taking land as part of that colony is impossible almost, because then you need an investment of almost 100 acres. And at today's prices of 5 crores plus, you need good 500 to 1000 crores to implement that. So if you are stuck up with 5 acres, 7 acres, 10 acres, so that means that you invested about say 30 crores and today there is a liquidity crunch in the market, so people want to monetize that part. So that is why people have gone into it. The main reason is that. Second reason, you can say that maybe some people can be passion driven. Passion driven that, okay, I will like to create some housing for the poor people, and there I will not like to make huge profit or any profit, because the kind of price at 4,000 rupees and 3,500 rupees, at that price, when you work backward, you on carpet area basis, I think that works to about 3,100 rupees to 3,200 rupees per square feet of the built up area. And at that price, constructing, including cost of land, cost of money and compliances, is almost, I think, very, very difficult, because I don't think there is any margin in this.
Okay.
Other than that, you are able to liquidate your investment.
Okay, and there are enough incentives for you to get into that? Is this policy offering enough incentives to the developer?
So I don't think if you give a little commercial component, then you make the developer accountable to maintain for 5 years. That will be a much bigger cost. And if you work backwards, on backwards you have at 4,000 rupees going towards cost of construction, that is today's about 2,000 to 2,500 rupees for normal housing. Affordable, even if you try to reduce and compromise on certain specifications, you cannot in any case achieve less than 1,600. Then the cost of land and cost of holding the land, that may work to, because today the FSI cost in Gurgaon is ranging between 2,000 rupees to 3,000 rupees. So even if you work backwards and look at, okay, I purchased and for my cost is 1,500, but it will not be less than 1,000 rupees in any case. So 1,600, I'm working at minimum, plus 1,000 rupees, 2,600, and then your administrative costs. So there is hardly left with you on the table.
But I have one question for you. Under existing policies, developers are already required, mandated to build a certain percentage of their project for EWS housing. But most micro markets that I travel to, most of these housing units are lying empty and have landed in the hands of brokers. So when we already have that, how are we going to ensure that this policy targets its actual audience?
Let me tell you, the 15% affordable housing component which is given under the current Haryana government policies, that is on number of units and not based upon percentage of area.
Right.
So the carpet area of that unit is 20 square meters only. So if you are constructing 100 units, and average unit size as on the current density norms of 300 works to about 1800 to 2000 square feet.
But still in this policy there is no mention of how they're going to ensure that the right audience gets this. That kind of leakage always happens in such policies.
I personally think, you know, that solution to giving housing to all should not be restrictive. I think this policy is also restrictive. The earlier policies where 15% of the apartments were given for EWS at a price of 1,50,000 rupees was also restrictive. So if you really want that people should be able to get a house at a much cheaper price, you should open up, give free FAR and free density, and let developers construct wherever there is a demand.
Looking at the experience that Rajasthan has had with affordable housing, their policy has received a lot of appreciation. One thing that developers really like about that policy is TDR, transfer of development rights. Can that also be introduced? That should have that been here.
That I think even if it was set totally free, why should we look at when we are giving freedom for construction to other segments, which is top 5%? Why are we looking at conditions when it comes to making housing for common man?
Right.
Let that be free. And if FAR is, you know, double the FAR is given, naturally pro rata cost of land will reduce. Then Government of India under Ray, you know, they are giving 75,000 rupees now. They have increased from 50,000 to 75,000 rupees the subsidy component to support such housing. So even that could have been taken benefit of. Even National Housing Bank has been now advised to give loans for affordable housing at a subsidized price. So all these things combined could actually make our country cleaner, because every common man, instead of going and buying into unauthorized colonies or going and squatting onto public land by way of creation of slums, it would have been much better. It is that across India, all the states consider to give total freedom by increased FAR, and if the increased FAR cannot be achieved, then TDR, and incentivizing in other ways, so that housing can reach out to the common man in his budget.
But Ray has not been that big a success, and how well does this policy do will be at...
no, I think Haryana has done very good on this. At least, you know, they are the first one to come after the affordable housing guidelines were issued by Government of India.
Right.
The Haryana is the first state to come and adopt it. So that way we must compliment the state of Haryana that they have actually acted upon it and creating 1.25 lakh houses. I mean, it's to imagine that how it is going to...
In the next 5 years, that's a mammoth
In the next 5 years. No, it will happen. It will happen.
All right. Mr. Raheja, thank you so much for your views, and thank you for joining us in the studio. While we are still discussing Haryana, let's bring into focus the Dwarka Expressway being built between Dwarka and Delhi and running all the way to New Gurgaon. This 18-kilometer long expressway has been stalled since 2008 due to litigation. But as our correspondent Oinitam Oja finds out, there may be some movement on this front. Authorities have finalized a rehabilitation policy for the residents who will be displaced under its route. Listen in.
a glimmer of hope for these realty projects along the Dwarka Expressway. The Haryana government has finalized the rehabilitation and resettlement policy for the 222 families who have to be displaced for the construction of the 18-kilometer expressway. Under the policy, land and house owners will be compensated and rehabilitated. For 100 to 500 square yards land, the owner will be compensated with 90 square meter of land. For a plot size of 501 to 1000 square yards, the government will give 150 square meter, and for plots of over 1 acre, the compensation will be 450 square meter. For a house of up to 100 square yards, the displaced household will get a 50 square yard plot, and for a house covering 100 to 200 square yards, the compensation will include a 100 square yard plot. But people like Mahesh, who have lost land for the construction of the expressway, are far from happy.
हम बिल्कुल खुश नहीं हैं। हमारे जो लोअर कोर्ट में 184 पर एकड़ के हिसाब से उन्होंने अनाउंस किया, सरकार ने बोला कि ज़्यादा हो गया, अपील में हाई कोर्ट गए हैं, हम उसमें जाके पार्टी बनेंगे। तो यहाँ पर जो आज का रेट है 10 करोड़ रुपए पर एकड़ है। जब हमारी एक्वायर हुई थी लैंड, यहाँ 5 करोड़ रुपए एकड़ में ज़मीन बिक रही थी, तो मेरी 2 एकड़ ज़मीन रोड में गई है। तो हम उसके लिए लड़ रहे हैं कोर्ट में। अब पहले यहाँ लड़े हैं, फिर आगे कोर्ट में हाई कोर्ट लड़ेंगे। तो हम तो चाहते हैं जल्दी रोड बने। अब ये 6 साल से कोई रोड में कोई डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो रही है। न्यू पालम विहार में 212 मकान अभी भी अपनी पेंट भी नहीं कर पाते हैं। 212 मकानों को कहाँ देंगे? वो सेक्टर 110 में देंगे, मगर वहाँ पे कोई डेवलपमेंट नहीं है। वो ज़मीन एज इट इज़ पड़ी है, वहाँ कोई रोड नहीं है, कोई डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में देंगे ना, और किस रेट से देंगे कोई हमें आज तक सरकार ने भी नहीं बताया।
If industry figures are any indication, there has been a dip in the number of new launches and absorption of units in the first half of 2013, though launches and absorption did pick up in the second half of 2012.
Haryana has a rehabilitation policy which is a model rehabilitation policy for the entire country, and it's something that the courts are very happy with. They've asked people to come forward and take plots in exchange for the land that they're acquiring, in addition to the money that they're paying as well. So I'm sure within the next 15 to 20 days, this entire problem will be behind us, and we will have the expressway up and running in the next year and a half, which is before our projects get ready.
After almost 6 years, there seemed to be some positive movement to resolve the impasse over the little over 2-kilometer stretch that had stalled construction and completion of Dwarka Expressway. And the delay has impacted the business of many high-profile developers whose construction is nearing completion, and have also put a question mark over the future prospects of several investors and home buyers in the area. But an on-ground reality check reveals that the court has to decide on at least 2 more litigations before work on this expressway can resume. In New Delhi, Oinita Moja, NDTV.